gentlemen, boys and girls, we're about to start the official part of today's proceedings. I'll be introducing the Lord Mayor shortly, so what we'll do is let everyone know that the free cupcakes and coffee is available on our left-hand side. Of course, the Jumping Castle is over there, and we also have a lot of community groups here in their little marquees around the back, so feel free to check those all out. As you know, 21 years and celebrating that passage of time for this great park, 2 decades and one. Everyone would say that, I believe that when you have turned 21, it's pretty much a grand occasion. On this day we're celebrating that milestone, not only for a great Sydney park but a national gem as well. So I'd like to ask the Lord Mayor to come to the microphone and speak to you about that great milestone.
Thanks, Ted. Hello everyone, gather round. I just want to give you a little bit of interesting history of the park. So we're here today to celebrate, as Sid said, the 21st birthday of Sydney Park. And I would first of all like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of our land, and pay my respects to their elders, both past and present, who would have looked after this land for thousands and thousands of years before we even thought about Sydney Park. So today we're celebrating a significant milestone. Hundreds of people have been involved in the transformation of Sydney Park over the past 21 years, and we've invited almost 100 of them to be part of the birthday celebrations today. It was 2 councils, 3 state governments and a federal government have provided funds to rehabilitate the park over the past 2 decades. So, what was once a rubbish dump has become a magnificent regional park, with play areas and space enough for the whole host of activities. We'll soon be adding to that a small area set aside for a city farm, and we're installing a water harvesting system that will capture over 800 million litres of stormwater each year for use in the park and the surrounding areas. So I got a letter just this week from Bill Morrison, and he said that Connie Bear Morrison, together with Bruce Mackenzie, who's a very famous landscaper, was responsible for the original planning and design of the park between 1981 and 1984. The work was carried out through the implementation of stage 1, which included creating and landscaping the mounds, those lovely mounds you can see, conserving and stabilising the chimneys, those fabulous chimneys which are a landmark of the park, conserving the 2 Hoffman kilns, which some would have seen demolished, and creating the landscape plaza surrounds. He said, "We fought to lower the floors in and around the kilns such that they might have a future use. A far-sighted approach which today would be referred to as adaptive reuse." So when you're celebrating these things, it's always really nice to know who's been involved. So just jumping back a bit, in pre-European times this land was covered in a forest of turpentine and ironbark trees, while the southeast section set on the Botany Sands had swamps and marshes and some heathland. Thomas Smith, a Marine sergeant with the First Fleet, cleared some of that forest cover and planted fruit trees and grain crops. And as you know, we're going to be planting orchard trees and vegetables as in our city farm coming up. And then interestingly, Elizabeth Needham, and I sort of went all around the place to get this history because I think it's fascinating. She was granted 40 acres in 1796. She was a convict, and she went on to become a successful businesswoman. So isn't that fascinating? In the 19th century, the site played an important role in the development of Sydney after brickmaking began here in the 1840s, with clay extracted from the extensive deposits. The pits and chimneys dominated the area and employed workers from Newtown, St Peters, Marrickville and Alexandria. The remaining kilns and chimneys are relics of the Bedford Brickworks run by the Gentle family from 1893. It was taken over by the Austral Brick Company in 1933, and bricks continued to be made here until 1970. The area around the brickworks was also in the early 20th century the site of an illegal, this is interesting too, but popular 2-up school, and a number of newspapers report on that. From the late 1940s through to the 1980s, the brick pits area was used as a rubbish dump by the City Council. Now that was not foresight, was it? Filling in the large pits where the clay had been dug out. Finally, following the closure of the last St Peter's tip, a layer of soil and building rubble was laid over the site to create the regional park. And that's where Connie Bear Morris and Bruce Mackenzie, of course. Bruce Mackenzie did their great work from 1891 to 1894. So the park came into the care of the City of Sydney in 2004, and since that time we've spent just over $12 million on improvements, and we're looking to a further $34 million up until 2021. We've got 44 hectares. We have a detailed master plan with lots of plans for further landscaping. There has been landscaping in the areas where the desalination pipeline was installed, and that's been completed. And of course we've got new paths and improved lighting. We have an award-winning kiosk over here, which I know many of you go to probably daily, for some of you, and a wonderful little All Abilities award-winning playground for children just behind us. In the middle of this year we'll be starting stage 2 of our water reuse scheme that will divert stormwater through underground pipes and filter it through a bioretention beds for use in the park and other non-drinking uses in the local area. So at the same time we're going to be revitalising the park's wetlands to increase storage and improve the water filtration. I just also want to tell you about the uncommon species found in Sydney Park. We've got the royal spoonbill, the black-winged stilt, the black-fronted dotterel, the Australian reed warbler, the eastern long-necked turtle and the Australasian grebe. We also have the largest local population of superb fairy wrens and eastern blue-tongued lizards that are in decline in other areas. So there's lots of wonderful history here, lots of wonderful work done by a lot of people, and now we can all enjoy this really beautiful park. So join with me in wishing it a happy 21st birthday. Happy 21st birthday, Sydney Park. And thank you to all our wonderful staff and our wonderful consultants who in recent years have done such fabulous work in this park. Now, we've got a birthday cake here and you're all going to be able to share in this because it's made up of cupcakes.